Hi everyone, I'm Carol Keller, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Illinois in the United States, and today I have a card using the Friends for Life bundle. It is a bundle that's in the 24-25 annual catalog, which will be retiring soon. The catalog will be, and some of the bundles will be continuing, but not as bundles, and some will be retiring. And while we don't know yet, I can pretty much guarantee that it won't be bundled. So what does bundling mean? That means that you get 10% off when you buy the stamp set and the dies together as a bundle. So if you want to save that 10% and you like this set, you have to get it before things change and the new catalog comes out at the beginning of May. So thanks for watching today. If you like the card, be sure to check out my other videos. I have lots of other card videos, scrapbook pages. I do paper pumpkin alternatives every month. I have tip and technique videos, beginner videos, so hopefully you'll find something there that is useful to you. But let's get started with the card. Here we go. Here is the card I have for you today. Like I said, it uses the Friends for Life bundle. It also uses the paper that comes with that same suite that the bundle is part of, and the paper's called Full of Life, and it's 6x6. So all right, let's get started. I am starting with a Berry Burst card base. Typical A2 or A4 size, depending on where you live. And I have a piece of Designer Series paper, and I'm going to cut it down to first layer size, which is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, or if you're in metric, 10 centimeters by 14.4. And I did this because I wanted to maximize the blue. So I think I turned it this way. I did to cut it. This being the top, so 4 inches or 10 centimeters, and 5 1/4 inches or 14.4 centimeters. And that leaves me with this. And we're going to stamp before we put it on, just in case we make a mistake, because we're stamping that word best right on here. So you don't want to have it adhered and then find out that you made a mistake. So we are going to stamp first. In the meantime, though, I have cut out the word friend from the dies. And this is in Blueberry Bushel because the colors in the paper are Berry Burst and Blueberry Bushel. I've also cut out the word friend in Berry Burst. And so there are 2 dies. Let me bring in the other one so that you can see the difference. So this is the die set, and this is the thicker one, and this is the thinner one. So you can see they're meant to fit one right inside the other, or to be layered. And I kept it in here for a reason, because the little dot of the eye, I didn't want that to get lost. So I just kept it in the die for that reason. So I'm going to take out the rest. And I'm going to leave that, it's still in there. We're going to leave that handy. Get that out of here. And I put an adhesive sheet on the back before I ran it through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I didn't do it for this one, but I did for this one since it's so narrow. And for that, I know I can get some glue dots on the back, which is what we're going to do in a minute. So just peel that backing off. Love my adhesive sheets. I could not survive without them. And it's just coming off in pieces because the sheets are 2 inches wide. And so I just overlapped 2 of them on the cardstock that I used. And so that's why, depending on how you do it, you could get it off all in one piece. All right, we've got the middle out of the F, and we need to take the middle out of the E. So I've got my take your pick tool handy. Oops, but not like that. There we go. Oh, and it came out anyway. Came out right in my hand. So I started kind of in the middle to lay out the letters so that they sort of end up in the right place. So I started with that E. Try to get it in the right place. And I did do some, whoops, let's do it this way. It's hard to do this on camera. I tried to get it really centered in the blueberry bushel piece. And I did do some rearranging once I had it down initially, because the adhesive sheet is a little bit forgiving, which is nice. See, like right here, that needs to be moved over a little bit. And then we just follow it along on this side. And once you're happy with it, which I think that looks pretty good, then we're going to burnish a little bit. And now for that eye. And of course, when I did it yesterday, when I made the first card, it was easy. It worked really well. Let's see if it's as easy this time. So I've got that little piece on my finger, just pulled it right out of that die. So we'll put that aside. And then I actually used my finger to take the adhesive sheet off the back. And I will tell you, if you have troubles, if you lose the dot or whatever, don't worry, because you can always put a gem there. And I almost did it anyway. I almost put it over there, and then I didn't want to cover up all my hard work of getting it on there. So it's on my finger, and I'm just going to place it right here. See if it works like it did yesterday. It's over a little bit here. All right, not too bad. So you can see, that's all it takes. So, but if you lose it, don't worry, because like I said, you can use a gem. So that part is done. And I also stamped and then cut out the hearts that come with the kit. And I've got one here, and I'll show you why. And I've got adhesive sheets on the back, although you don't really need them for this. I was thinking it was going to be just the outline of the heart, so I used cardstock with adhesive on the back, but you don't need it. And if you, I may even stamp it here, because then you could pop them up. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to stamp this one not on the adhesive sheet, part of the cardstock without it. And I've got my blueberry bushel, so we're just doing tone on tone. And I've got my hearts. Ink that up. And you see there are two on the stamp, and that's why I have an extra one here, because I stamped it twice and I used the first three on this card. And now I've got one, so I'm going to stamp this just once down here and cut it out, and then we'll use them on this card. So I'm going to put that aside though for a minute, because we have one more thing that we're going to stamp before we cut things out. And so while we've got the blueberry bushel too, we're also going to stamp the inside panel. This is the same size as this, so 4 inches by 5 1/4 or 10 centimeters by 14.4. And for the inside, I'm stamping Thinking of You. That comes from that same set. And then last but not least, while we've got the blueberry bushel, we're going to stamp the word best. So what I did was lay out where I thought I wanted the word friend. And with the Miss You up here, you know, sort of knowing that's where I wanted to put it. And so then I'm going to stamp that word best in blueberry bushel as well. You want to make sure you get good ink on your stamp. When I first did it, when I first used the stamp, the coverage wasn't good. So I stamped it on a scrap paper, and I really scrubbed it on my Stampin' Scrub with Stampin' Mist to get, sometimes there's residue on the photopolymer stamps. Got that off, and now it's inked nicely. And now stamp that. I'm going to move that word friend out of the way, and it's going in about the middle anyway. All right, and I'm happy with that. And I think, oh, and then the envelope. So we're done with our blueberry bushel. We're going to bring in Berry Burst. Oh no, that's right. Blueberry bushel one more time. We have one more thing to stamp. We'll leave that Berry Burst handy. We need to stamp the Miss You. I have a scrap of Berry Burst, a big scrap, and we're going to stamp Miss You and Blueberry Bushel, because I really wanted it to show. And I'm just going to do it toward the end. And it doesn't have to be perfectly straight, because we're going to cut it out with the die anyway. I want to show you too, the die is longer than the sentiment, so I'm not using the whole thing. I'm just going to put it toward the edge like that and then cut it out. So I will leave those aside. so that I can do that in just a second. But we're going to finish our stamping. So now we are done with Blueberry Bushel. I'm going to grab those hearts again. I cleaned the stamp. And we're going to do two things. We're going to take our envelope and stamp them right here. You could do them in Blueberry Bushel if you wanted to, but I'm also putting them on the inside. And so I believe all of our stamping is done. Yes. And so we'll put this away and I'm going to cut out everything and I'll be right back. All right, and I'm just going to do one more thing to the Miss You. I didn't want a straight edge since everything was sort of curved, so I just took my paper snips and I just kind of rounded the corners and kind of went in and out a little bit. I didn't want it to be necessarily perfectly straight. Just took that little snippet off and still had it so it was reasonably centered. I could even have cut more of this off, but I think I'm going to leave it. I think I like it. It's about the same size. I think I'm going to leave that. All right, so now it's time for assembly. Move those out of the way for the moment. We're going to take some Stampin' Seal. And we're going to put this on the front. We'll take this one and put it on the inside. And so for the front, like I said, I just used some glue dots and put some for sure on both ends, top and bottom, but also a couple in the middle. And you can always fold it over if it overlaps the edge. I'm going to do that again here. Here a little bit, and then just a couple in the middle. And maybe one more here. So I just did it on the thickest parts in the middle, and then this is going to go here at an angle. And I'm going to use the large one here. And I think I am going to bump that up with a dimensional. So that's the advantage of not having the adhesive sheet on the back. We'll put that here. The Miss You is going to go up here. And I thought about doing that at an angle too, but then I decided to put it straight. So whatever works for you. Put some seal on the back of that. Whoops. And that's going to go about up here. I'm going to move it up a little higher than I did on the other one. And then we just need our hearts and the rest of our hearts and our bling. So this one has an adhesive sheet on the back, so I'm going to take that off and kind of do something similar to what I did on the first card. This one I'll use a glue dot for, and we'll put it up here. Of course, we need our bling. Always have to have bling on the card. So I'm using the Regal foiled adhesive-backed dots. Comes in 4 colors. This one is Berry Burst. This one is technically Night of Navy, but I thought it went very well, so that's what we're using. I'm gonna grab my Take Your Pick tool. And I debated using actually the Night of Navy. That's why I picked these. But when I did this card, everything was going in an area where there was Blueberry Bushel. And so I purposely used the other color. So it kind of depends the way you cut your paper and where it falls and also where you want to put it. So for example, if I wanted to use it on the dot for the eye, if I lost that, I would definitely use this one. But maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll change it up for this one. Maybe we'll do some of each. So I'll put one down here in the navy that, like I said, looks more like Blueberry Bushel, and maybe one here. So hard to know. This is the hardest part, is trying to figure out where you want to place them. Shouldn't be this hard, but it is. Maybe we'll put it up here. And then we'll take another dark one, blue one, and put it here. Yeah. All you want to do is draw your eye around the card, make kind of a triangle. So it's a little bit different from that one, but it still draws your eye around the card. And it's, of course, personal preference where you want to put them. But that is it. That is the card. Let me show you the stamp set. It's called Friends for Life, like I said. A lot of different sentiments that you can pair up with best and friend, and, you know, best wishes, thinking of you, friend, so excited for you, friend. And you can even do thank you for being a friend. So happy birthday, love it. And then the dies, I'll bring those in one more time so that you can see those too. I love the heart. I was going to try to figure out a way to use that, but then I just ended up not. But I like that there are leaves. This is cut out with this, and then there's another one that you can pair with it. Also 2 small hearts. And the reason I didn't use those, because I could have, is I didn't see them at first. So I would have probably done that, cut these twice and this one once, and then I had 3 sizes of hearts, so you can do that as well. Now for the paper, which like I said is called Full of Life. These are the patterns, and they're bold and bright and kind of busy, but fun. You know, if I were using some of these, I'd probably just use a strip. I wanted something that would go on the whole sheet. And I almost used this because I love the colors, and we actually used the other side of it for the card today. But I did not want to worry about centering this. But I will tell you, when I cut off one part to use it for this, and when I flipped it over to use my seal, I should have pointed it out when I did it today. It actually looked pretty good even like this. So I think that you don't have to worry about centering it, I guess is my point. I think this is all of them. And the other sides are, you know, again, bold, bright. I love the color palette. So I feel like I'll use these more, or I have used them more actually, because I love them. And you don't have to worry so much about, I don't know, the other ones. This side just seems a little busier, although some of those I love too. So you have your choice. But that is it. That is the card today. Thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate you watching. If you liked what you saw, please leave me some love in the comments, because I appreciate that too. And like I said, check out my other videos on my YouTube channel, because there is a lot there. You can leave me love in the comments on those too. All right, take care, everyone. Happy stamping.